Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of NFL Dynasty Madness Picks. We are here live via tape per vacation from Las Vegas, Nevada, where we are here to present Week 3 of Dynasty Picks. Let's talk about what happened last week, and let's congratulate Joe, who came in at number 1 with 10 correct picks, followed closely by myself and Rogers, who split with 9, and Alex and Phil need to catch up as they had 7 picks correctly. Maybe next time they want to choose their picks a little bit more carefully. That being said, you know how we do. We go directly into the first game that we're going to talk about, which is going to be the San Diego Chargers versus the Buffalo Bills. Phil, what do you think is going to happen in this game?
Buffalo's on a surprise 2-0 start, but I'm still going to go with San Diego.
Eddie, welcoming him to the cast. He want to be a new permanent addition, our old cameraman.
How we doing today?
Eddie,
Alright, so my pick, I'm going with Buffalo. I feel that Buffalo being at 2-0 is gonna do a lot of good things, and I'm just gonna keep it nice and short like that. Buffalo.
I am also going with Buffalo, simply because they're Buffalo. You're welcome.
that was great. I'm going to go with the San Diego Chargers. I think they showed a lot in their game with the Seattle Seahawks last week. Buffalo Bills, however, are doing a lot better than I expected them this season, so I don't think the San Diego Chargers are going to have a walk in the park at all. However, I do predict that the Chargers will have a pretty easy game against these Buffalo Bills.
I think San Diego's going to take it. I think Buffalo's definitely has some players move. I think San Diego is just a better team. Buffalo has C.J. Spiller and Fred Jackson, a lot of running backs. Good running game, but I think that San Diego's is going to take it. Phillip Rivers all day.
I think San Diego's going to take it too. San Diego is very legit. Offense, defense playing really good right now. Buffalo's doing pretty good right now, but I think San Diego will take it. San Diego still running hard from last year. Take San Diego all the way.
All right, let's talk briefly about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Atlanta Falcons Thursday night football game, and every single one of us picked the Atlanta Falcons to defeat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Sorry about that, any fans in Tampa. Kansas City goes to Miami to face the Miami Dolphins, and Phil, Joel picked the Kansas City Chiefs to pick up their first victory against Miami, where everyone else believes the Miami Dolphins should pick up that victory. Next thing we're going to talk about is Green Bay Packers versus the Detroit Lions.
I'm going to go Green Bay with this one. Even though Detroit is markedly better at home, still have a very stout defense. Green Bay's not going to be able to run on them, but when you got Aaron Rodgers with that receiving core, you don't need to really run. So I'm going to go with Green Bay.
I'm also going to go with Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers still stands as one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And the fact that they just took an unexpected loss at the beginning of the week 1, that wasn't. I was ruling them to win, but unfortunately they didn't, which is perfectly fine. But I will definitely go with Green Bay.
Well, I'm going to say this much. Detroit is not going to win this one because Aaron Rodgers is just going to kill it. All right? Green Bay.
I'm also going to go with the Green Bay Packers. I think the Detroit Lions have a very good chance to pull this upset, though. So don't be surprised to see them walk away with the victory. But I'm going to go with the Packers. They have a little bit more experience in games like this, and they definitely need a victory a little bit more than the Detroit Lions.
I'm going to have to go with Detroit. This is a very tough pick for me, but Reggie Bush, Calvin Johnson, Matt Stafford, they need this win. And I think they're at home, so I'm going with Detroit. Let's get it.
I also take D-Town Lions. If y'all don't know, Aaron Rodgers has been struggling against them the last couple games. But I think Detroit has a lot of weapons, and they're at home. They play good defense. I think they can pull it out. It's a rivalry, so things go anyway. People think Aaron Rodgers is the man. He is the man, but when it's rivalry, anything goes. I pick D-Town Lions.
Let's see what do the Rodgers thing.
All right, let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Carolina. Discount double check. All right, let's talk about these discount picks as the Carolina Panthers and the Pittsburgh Steelers face each other. And like I said, discount picks. Apparently, Phil Phil, Eddie, Joe, and Rogers picked the Carolina Panthers to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, where myself and Alex want the Pittsburgh Steelers to win.
That's a loss.
Pittsburgh should pull up the victory in that one, in my opinion. Baltimore versus Cleveland, another AFC North game, pretty much. Carolina being NFC, though. Baltimore is picked by Philly, Eddie, Joel, Rogers, and myself, where Alex go with the upset pick, go with the Cleveland Browns. Let's talk about the Washington Redskins traveling to Philadelphia to face the Philadelphia Eagles, and that should be a very interesting game in the NFC East.
It's a toss-up. Because that offense under Kirk Cousins is looking really good right now. You just can't trust Redskins to bring out the same product that they give you first week when it's good, and then they usually bring out a dud next. I don't want to go Philly. I'm going to pick Philly.
Well, I feel as though the Redskins got a very good chance at winning this game. They pulled a pretty impressive win, even though it was against Jacksonville. They did play very well, defense and offense. Kirk Cousins looked great, even though, like I said, Jacksonville doesn't have that good of a defense anyways. But I do not believe that Philly is going to take a 3-0 at the beginning of the season. So I'm definitely going to go with the Redskins. I feel like the Redskins is definitely going to do what they got to do in order to get this second win.
Look, Redskins played Jacksonville. Let's be serious now. The Eagles are going to take this all the way. Easy victory for the Eagles. Redskins are a joke. Thank you.
So it's the team with the worst defense in the
I'm going to tell you right now that the Philadelphia Eagles are one of the most dynamite, spectacular, excellent, awesome, wonderful teams I've ever seen in my entire life. They were able to score 58 points in the second half alone. I don't see the Washington Redskins being able to contend with the Philadelphia Eagles this Sunday. And because of that, I think the Philadelphia Eagles should win this quite easily. And that is an unbiased view.
I'm gonna pick the Eagles.
My 6.
Yeah. As a Redskins fan, that's all I have to say.
We are unbiased.
This game is official bum off. I don't know who I want to pick. I think Philly's at home. Am I right?
Yeah. Yes, they are at home. They are
Philly's
playing
at home.
the league.
I don't think the Redskins are totally fraudulent, but I do think that Jacksonville wasn't prepared to face Kirk Cousins, which is why Kirk Cousins just went off on them. I'm gonna take Philly. Philly's just gonna be too much for Redskins. Philly all the way.
Rogers, it's so nice to see you pick the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys going to the St. Louis Rams, as everybody picked the Dallas Cowboys to defeat St. Louis. It's so good to see Dallas is able to pull up another victory. It's so rare to get one. Chicago will go to New York to face the Jets, and Chicago is picked by everyone with the exception of Alex and Rogers, the two Cowboy fans. Oh, Eddie's a Cowboy fan too. Oh, I'm biased though. I'm biased. So, Chicago over New York possibly. Two people disagree with that. Tennessee versus Cincinnati, and this is another game where everybody picked Cincinnati Bengals to defeat Tennessee. Cincinnati has been looking very impressive. I'm not surprised by that at all. San Francisco faces the Arizona Cardinals coming up this Sunday. What's going on?
Arizona with that defense still continues to impress, even though with all the injuries that they've lost. They lost John Abraham. He's not finished his concussion protocol yet. Already lost Darrell Washington. You keep expecting them not to produce, and they're still going with that. With Kaepernick kind of sliding, I'm going to go with my dark horse pick for the playoffs. I'm going to go with Arizona.
Personally, I don't think San Francisco is really doing anything good this season. They are a good team, but I think everybody is hyping them up a little bit more than what they actually should be this year. Colin Kaepernick is not one of the best quarterbacks. I really don't even think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league at all. But for my pick, I'm going to definitely go with Arizona. Arizona is looking very lethal. In defense, they got a very good offense. They can keep up with pretty much anybody, but definitely Arizona though.
I personally think that Arizona's offense needs to step up. They haven't been the same offense like they
last
have
week they
been.
won the Drew Stanton, a backup quarterback. And they still look, for a backup quarterback, they look really good.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm taking San Fran.
Just as articulate as you can possibly be, Alex, and I agree with you. Arizona's offense definitely does need to improve. They're hoping to make that dark horse playoff run, which I do believe they have a chance of making. And it's going to be sad when they go against Philadelphia in that playoff and they lose to Philadelphia. But they won't lose this Sunday, as I predict them to beat the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco is going to have a rough couple weeks, the week after they face Philadelphia. Philadelphia will probably go 4-0 there. I'll just make my pick right now.
Unbiased?
I am being unbiased. I just saw the lineup. Excuse me. Can I talk? Arizona. Thank you, Phil.
You're welcome.
Taking San Francisco, read option, Frank Gore. I want to re-emphasize that. Please give Frank Gore the ball as I play Alex. Fantasy football. I need at least 2 touchdowns from him. Fuck Carlos Hyde in San Francisco.
Give it to Crabtree or Anquan. Either one. Just pass it to them.
Both
Touchdown.
times come. He's done.
Frank Gore.
I pick Arizona Cardinals. Why? Because Kaepernick is a fraud. He's not really that good. He underperforms. There's no way that you can have 2 good running backs and 3 number 1 receivers and still not move the ball at will. Arizona's going to win. Carson Palmer coming back. You got Fitz, Floyd. You got Ellington in the backfield. I take Arizona away. And they got one of the top 3 crowds in the NFL. So I take Arizona all the way.
Yeah, it's impressive. And Rogers, let me tell you, can we get a good close-up of this get-up? This is a very good outfit right here. Your man got the glasses on. Look at this nice little ensemble here. I'm really impressed. I like the shoes. Can we get a look at the shoes? That is great. I'm really happy about that.
Fly.
Yeah, fly. He needs something to make him happy after the Cowboys lose this week. All right, so 4 games we're going to talk about quickly. The Houston Texans facing the New York Giants. And Joe is the lone man out picking the New York Giants to win this Sunday, their first game. Let's hope he's wrong. Indianapolis goes against Jacksonville, and do I have to say anything? Everybody pick Indianapolis Colts to defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Minnesota Vikings travel to face the New Orleans Saints, and we also have another loner pick as Alex picked the Minnesota Vikings to pick up a victory against the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans looking for their first victory there. And Oakland versus New England. Everybody heard me say last week I want to see somebody pick the Oakland Raiders for any game this season, and guess what? We have another lone pick as Eddie makes his first pick.
Upset.
Yeah, well, let's
Major upset. All right, feel it.
Derek Carr, 600 yards, 10 touchdowns.
And they'll win by 6. Eddie, let me just say this right now. I am so glad to see you this week, and I'm afraid you're going to be so embarrassed after picking the Oakland Raiders that we won't see you next week.
I mean, but even though I pick the Oakland Raiders, it really doesn't matter because I'm still going to top you, so.
That is so cute that you think that. Amazing. Can I shake your hand right now?
Absolutely.
Denver versus Seattle. Denver versus Seattle. Denver's traveling to Seattle. It's not that far. But anyway, the bottom line is this is a rematch of the Super Bowl. Let's hope it's a little bit more entertaining than the Super Bowl that we saw earlier in February.
How could it be more entertaining? Peyton Manning not scoring anything at all whatsoever?
Did he?
Yes, I'm going to go with Seattle.
Points, right?
Coming off that a bit of embarrassment where Richard Sherman was exposed. He gets to go back home with the 12th man, which I think is the cheapest stadium out there. As far as crowd controls, you have all them fans on the field pretty much. It'll be too much for Peyton Manning and company, so I'm going to go with Seattle.
I definitely want to go with Denver, but the fact still stands that Seattle's going to be at home, and they also took this upsetting loss towards San Diego, so I'm definitely going with Seattle. Seattle is going to beat the hell out of Denver once again.
Look, Denver's not going to take a second loss against Seattle. Richard Sherman has been exposed. He's some shit. Real life. Denver, all the way. It's going to be a close game, then.
That is a very interesting
Good
pick,
game.
and I know a lot of people out there in Americana, and hopefully we have some viewers in Japan and Russia also. I disagree with that pick completely.
That's fine.
But I agree with you, Alex. I think Denver's going to take this one. I think Denver is very embarrassed, especially Payton. I think they've actually come up to a rough start. And I think they need to take advantage of some stuff that maybe they saw San Diego do last week against Seattle, and they're going to take this victory. So, as reluctant as I am to pick Denver, I'm going to pick Denver for the win.
And that's why I will beat you.
While I do feel that Denver is embarrassed from that disgraceful performance in the Super Bowl last year, embarrassment doesn't win games. So I'm going to take Seattle. I just think they're the better team. I think they're going to have to. It's going to be a fight this year, but it's going to be a fight this year. But Seattle's going to take it at home. That Qualcomm Stadium, the noise is just going to be way too much for the Indianapolis. I'm sorry, for the Denver Broncos.
I pick the Broncos, and here's why. The Broncos still is a legitimate offensive team. And if you don't know, in the Super Bowl, they had a lot of missing weapons on the offensive line. You can say a great defense always be a great offense, but great offense needed an offensive line because the defense, if it's going to be great, it's going to be stacked all 11 players. The offense can be great without having all 11 players. I think Denver is going to be more to handle Seattle Seahawks. And then Seattle is going to lose. And also Denver has more defensive weapons.
Yeah.
Have Von Miller on defense. They got DeMarcus Ware. Best in the game.
Yeah.
Let's go, Denver.
All
Let's
the
hit this
way.
rematch, even though it's not equivalent to a Super Bowl.
Good pick.
All right, that's week 3 games. It's going to be a very interesting week. Let me tell you something. The first 2 weeks have been very exciting. There have been a lot of upsets, been a lot of surprises. Some teams you expected to do well have not done well. Some teams you expected to do bad have actually done pretty good. We're going to talk about a little bit of this in the next segment where we talk about 0-2 teams who still have a very good chance of making playoffs. Before we go to that segment, can I make a few shout-outs because we are on vacation. Dynasty, I know you're saying 2 weeks and we're already on vacation. That's how we do, and I'm very excited. I'm very happy. Can I get a few looks at these great-looking Dynasty members? Eddie, can we step up to our cameraman, our normal cameraman, Eddie, wearing his finest K&G? Looking good out here, I have to admit. This man is not running for any border at all. Eddie. Phil, let me tell you something. If you do not know Phil outside of this, Phil is somebody wearing... Look at this. Phil, can we step into the spotlight here, please? Phil is not somebody who normally wears stuff like this, but I have to say the man is looking good. Father of 2, very happy man. Phil, the second, we're happy to see you. Good job, Phil. Joe, the most energetic, charismatic member of the Dynasty right here. Joe, don't piss him off. He's looking very good, looking very dapper. He's ready for the Vegas nightlife, as you can see right here. Alex, if you look at some of our old Dynasty videos, you will see a dramatic change. I won't say anything, but all I'll say is, can we get a side view here? Boom, look at that, and you'll see a difference. Alex, looking very handsome with his normal pose. Thank you very much. And the newest addition to Dynasty Madness, Rogers, as I already said, look at him.
Show today.
Fresh from Miami, I might add.
Baby.
From Miami to Vegas.
Vegas, baby.
This is how Dynasty
Vegas,
does,
baby.
and he
Vegas,
dances. And, alright, I didn't want to get too close, but you all know how Chris...
Alright, so that's...
2, 1. And welcome back. As you can see, the Dynasty's still on their vacation here in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. And in this next segment, we are going to talk about 0-2 teams that still have the possible chance of making it to the playoffs. We still have everybody out here. We still have Joe, Phil, myself, Eddie, Rogers, and Alex. And Alex is going to start off letting us know what 0-2 team possibly has that chance of going to this playoffs. To the right, Alex, take it away.
Hey, what's going on, fellas and ladies, gentlemen, everything of that source. Yes, how y'all doing? It's your boy Alex, you know, chilling here in Vegas, chilling like a villain, enjoying my vacation. So apparently we're talking about 0-2 teams. Clearly the Saints are going to go to the playoffs because it's the Saints. Drew Brees is the man. The first loss against Atlanta with that field goal, it was a good game, hell of a game, tough luck, but you know, it's still the Saints, and At the end of the day, Drew Brees is gonna do what he's gonna do, and he's gonna take his team to the playoffs. Saints.
I would have to say Indianapolis Colts, because Colts are going all the way. They're in a very, very sorry underperforming division, even though Texans are going to playoffs this year. But I think Indianapolis will go as well, because Luck he just doesn't miss the playoffs, man. He's just that clutch. He's that good. He's that great. Indianapolis all the way.
I agree with Rodgers. Indianapolis is one of the favorites to go into the playoffs, even though they started off as 0-2. But I'm also not going to sleep on Kansas City. You know, they still got Alex Smith, even though Jamal Charles left out the game. Jamal Charles is not going to be gone for the season, and they still got Niles Davis as his filling, which he was looking real great right before Jamal Charles got injured. So I definitely will go with Kansas City. I really think they're a real good sleeping team. People think that just because they started off at 0-2 that they're not going to do nothing. I disagree completely.
Well, I'm going to have to be the third man out here and go with the Indianapolis Colts. I predicted last week that they have a good chance to go to the Super Bowl this season. They will have to climb back from behind after that devastating loss that they had on Monday night against the Philadelphia Eagles. So we already knew they were going to be 0-2. They'll try to rectify that this week. And I think Andrew Luck, even though some people make him out to be a veteran quarterback, this is actually his third season, but he doesn't miss the playoffs, that he's going to lead his team with this comeback to go to the playoffs this season. They're going to be a good contender. They still might actually end up with a bye, in my opinion. Only second Pittsburgh.
Following the train, I'm going with Indianapolis too. I actually got Kansas City knocking out Houston in the wild card, taking the last wild card spot. Ryan Fitzpatrick has already shown what he can do leading a team with Buffalo. He's off to a great start with Houston now, but I think they're going to slow it down later on in the season. As far as he talk about Luck being just his third year, yes it is, but he is one of the quarterbacks that has the highest rating coming back in fourth quarter. So he's still young, but he's pretty much proven that he can make it happen. So he keeps his team close. They're gonna get some wins soon and make the playoffs.
Since New Orleans is my Super Bowl pick from the NFC, not to win it, but to get there, they have to at least make the playoffs. So I think Darren Sproles was a big loss for them. Unfortunately, he's at the Redskins robbing the Eagles, but I mean, they still got weapons. They still got Drew Brees, Marcus Colston, Mark Ingram, all those boys. So Jimmy Graham, so improved defense. So they're gonna get it together. And starting this week, I don't know who the fuck they're playing with.
It doesn't matter. They're at home. They don't lose at home.
Win, so they making the playoffs. Put it right.
So who?
Yeah.
New Orleans does not lose at home.
New Orleans have a hard time losing at home. It's hard. People feel sorry because they go inside and they see the city of New Orleans still devastated by Katrina. Let me tell you, so New Orleans is a good pick. I agree with that. And most people think it's going to be Indianapolis. So we'll see how it happens. Hey, it's a very good chance for both these teams to go to the playoffs. Who knows? Even more likely a chance, or more of a stretch, it might be Indianapolis versus the New Orleans Saints in the Super Bowl. I don't predict that either. I still think it's going to be the Eagles and the Steelers, but we'll see how that goes.
It won't be the Saints. It won't be the Saints because they're in a tough division. Carolina has a playoff spot on lock. They got to figure out how deep the NFC is. Saints got themselves in a hole. I don't think they'll be able to climb back out of it. They're in a tough division. They're not going to playoffs.
We'll see how that goes. It's a very good week here. We are going to spend our time watching the game. This is taped on Thursday today, so we're going to watch the game, which is coming up in a couple hours actually. And we're going to get in the pool and enjoy the rest of our vacation. We hope you all are having good times at home. Joel, do you have any final thoughts you want to mention? That was a wonderful final thought. Phil, any final thoughts?
Vegas, baby.
Eddie, what you got?
Well, you know how we're doing it out here. We're doing it big in Vegas, just hanging out, chilling, enjoying our vacation. But we're the best at what we do, and that's what we do, because that's how we do it. We're the best.
Raj, any final thoughts?
Final thoughts: football, Vegas, females. They don't get no better.
Ball! Alex.
No final thoughts. Just final sayings. You're welcome. You're welcome.
My fault. You know, I have to apologize, ladies and gentlemen. My issue with having a final thought is you actually had to have a thought. And apparently some of these people did not have a thought. But we hope you thoroughly enjoyed this. We'll see you next week when we'll be back in the Maryland area at the Studio Quad. So, as always, for Alex, for Rogers, for Eddie, for Phil, and for Joe, thank you very much for tuning in. We will see you next week. Enjoy your time as we enjoy ours here in Las Vegas. Have a good day.